Good Tuesday evening, everybody. It's the Masked Comedian and Big Ace. You're watching the Masked Comedian Xcast live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. If you're watching somewhere this evening, please let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. Also, give us a like, subscribe, or whatever you want to do. Help support us doing this lovely, lovely broadcast. Well, Big Ace, anything new in your world this week?
No, man, just been busy. It's a busy week. Busy. I feel like I'm always busy, though.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that I'm not looking at the screen right now.
No, that's okay. You're busy. You're busy doing show prep.
Yeah, I'm sending out that last link to that people will hopefully click on.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
But no, it's been a busy week actually. And
I'll tell you what,
the holidays.
You want to know something? I'll tell you this. This is the absolute truth, and you're going to love it. I got a new job today. I was offered a position. I will now be a de-icer at the Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport.
No kidding?
Yeah.
Nice.
To be honest, I think the fact that I stood up and said, hey, I can even write my name in the snow by myself with my own equipment.
That's instant hire. Probably
got me, because I know that guy knows how to run a hose. Anyway, no, it was not. It was not that easy.
So wait, when you do that?
When?
Like when you starting that?
I'm not sure yet. Got to do a drug test first.
All right.
So I might not be working.
What does that entail?
They had me stick one of those.
No, not the drug test, like the icing.
Icing. So you're in one of them big old trucks, and you got a driver and a sprayer, and the guy that drives the truck really has it easy because all you got to do is drive the truck. The sprayer guy is in a cockpit on the end of a big old cherry picker that'll go up about 50 feet. And then you just go back and forth spraying the hot de-icer on the airplane.
All right.
And it's kind of like a video game, which, I probably wouldn't be very good at.
Nice.
But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Man, that could be cold, huh?
Could be. Could be. But if I'm the truck driver, it's going to be warm in there.
There you go.
So I'll drive the truck. You can get up and have the fun in the spray box. I thought, wake up. Anyway, well, gosh, there's just so much going on already in the past couple of hours. Let's start right. Well, first of all, it's funny that this has happened because I made a tweet to the NWA that I am the question mark. And then I
saw that.
Well, I could be.
They're probably busy right now with some other tweets, though.
They probably, well, there's probably thousands of them that have nothing to do with what I tweeted because, Lord.
So, I mean, let's just talk about it real quick before we talk about like Raw and any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Brought it up because you're a big NWA guy.
I love it.
In Power, and I like it too. It's just something that it's kind of last on the list to get caught up on. So, but like, I'm not a big Cornette guy. You know that. I've made that very clear in anything I've ever done in wrestling media. So that's just known. I'm just not a fan, really. Very, very smart wrestling man, old school, all that stuff, did good things. But he definitely is someone that doesn't change with times, I feel like.
Well, he's got an edge to him, and he seems to not have a sense of where the line is to stop. It's just like, it's like when I was telling you about those documentaries they were doing on Viceland, Under the Mat or whatever the hell it was. And the one about the Montreal Screwjob, he just at the end of it starts going off on Russo. And it's like, dude, that's been years and years and years. Can you not let that go? Dude, he can't.
Yeah, and he's really torn down a lot of the stuff with, the transgender, the gay, all that kind of stuff. Like he's really, and just, I mean, even some of the ladies in independent wrestling, he's kind of attacked for not having maybe the body he thinks they should have and stuff like that, to the point that he's like, kill yourself. It's pretty,
Yeah.
The guy's a kind of an asshole. Anyways, so you're taking a gamble, is what I'm saying at this point in his career if you're bringing him on your TV. So, and this could be what maybe bites NWA in the butt. I don't think so. I think if it gets that bad, they're going to just get rid of him, which maybe that's on its way. But you watched the episode. I did. I saw the clip where he says what he says. Now, do you remember anything he said that episode that stands out that you're like, yep, that's it. That's what he said. Okay.
I'll tell you what. So let me make this disclaimer first. When I get home and I turn it on, it's already started. And so as I go back and get it to the front, it starts playing. At the time that it's done, it stops and I don't see it and I got to go back and fiddle with it. So having said that, and to be fair, I was watching some other stuff or doing some other stuff while I was watching it. I don't recall what he even said. So send it over to me. Send it to me on something, because I don't remember. Was it? I was going to say it. I mean,
there's no like profanity or anything in it. It's just kind of a little racist, maybe a little bit more than racist.
Well,
he was talking about Trevor Murdoch and how he's the only person. Again, this is I'll read it. It's
okay.
Word for word quote from Jim Cornette, and I heard it. Like, again, I told you I didn't see the episode. I saw something on Twitter.
Yeah,
someone said this is why I don't watch it. Someone else retweeted it. Like, wait, what did he say? And it was something about Trevor Murdoch being the only person he knows who could have a bucket of chicken on his back and ride a motocross across Ethiopia. I'm not gonna lie. When I watched it and heard him say it, I was like, "Yeah, that's."
See, I'll be honest with you. What most of that garbage that he says just is in one ear and out the other ear to me.
And I agree, but the thing is, back then, most of his time, he's not saying anything that's too out the realm,
right?
But in the last year or two, he's really kind of like, I don't know, man. He's saying stuff that he should.
Yeah,
I can see how this is considered racist, and it is.
I agree.
In my opinion, like, it is racist. That, like, it's horrible. Why would you say that? And then it's like that's the line that comes to your mind when you need to make Trevor Murdoch look tough, because obviously, not knocking Trevor Murdoch, but he don't look tough. He looks very full.
He looks like he looks like he could drive a garbage truck and then wrestle on the weekends.
This is true. So it's. And this is the second occasion that they'd have had to pull things down because of him. So that's why I said, it looks like it's only temporarily taken down.
Well, they'll probably edit it.
You're going to edit it out and put it back on. Yeah. But it just makes you think. I mean, that's twice now. It's got a lot of steam going. Do you keep in the Cornette train?
Well, so now here's the thing that is curious to me. All of those were recorded at the same time. All of these episodes. Within a week. They did them all. These have all been done. It's not like they're going and recording again on a weekly basis. They're recording them, a bunch of them at once, and then playing them. So they knew that was in there. Before they broadcast it.
They knew. Again, though, it could also maybe be something where it's like it's Cornette in one ear, out the other, like you said.
Yeah.
It's like the people who know him and working with him, they're probably just like, this is just him. This is what he says, which again doesn't make it right. But then it's, you're in a PC culture too, where everything gets analyzed now.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be careful what you're saying. But also, I just also think that was just an unnecessary comment that he made. Or
sure,
I mean, you're not going to see anybody else who's doing this.
Well, he's always kind of been a loose cannon as he gets older, it gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what happens when you get older. But having said that, it's a shame because it was a good episode.
Yeah, like I said, I'll have to get caught up on them and watch that. But the other announcement, though, and unfortunately, this happened earlier. So, or NWA, they were getting a lot of heat or steam from this too, because this came clear that they got the new Circle Squared. So basically, Billy Corgan's doing a show where he'll give like a
guys get tryouts.
Yeah, it gives like some indie talent a trial to join NWA, and it's a TV show. Well, YouTube TV show for them. So that's kind of cool.
It's very cool, I think.
I like it. Just don't have Cornette be on that show.
Yeah, when I heard him announce it this morning, Billy Corgan was on Busted Open on Sirius XM this morning, and I heard him announce that. And the first thing that I thought of that I wanted to ask you about was, do you think that'd be something Wes would try to weasel in that way?
Maybe.
Because, clearly he's, and it's funny because, a few weeks ago when you and I were talking about the NWA and Wes and the Briscoe name, we talked about the history. And sure enough, as they're talking about it, it all comes up. Harley Race, the Briscoes, all the history that's involved with the NWA Heavyweight Championship. And it just, I'm like, Wes needs to get a hold of him. He really does. Because, Melina came back.
She was talking about NWA.
Yeah. It looks like she's going to be the manager. I don't know if she's able to wrestle anymore or not, but looks like she's going to be the manager for Thunder Rosa and Marty Bell.
Okay.
And I got to tell you, out of nowhere comes Thunder Rosa, and man, do I love her.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something about her that, she's got it. And she's agile and just seems like tough as nails, but she's also an MMA fighter. So, but she's, they had a tag match between her and Marty Bell and Allison, whatever her last name is, that's the champion, and somebody else, Fox or whatever. But it was a great match, and it all ended with Melania coming out and distracting the champion.
Nice. Yeah, I have to catch up on that. I haven't.
Dude, it's so fun.
Yeah.
So, and a beautiful part about it is it's only an hour, and sometimes not even an hour. You just watch it, it goes by, and everything is like, holy cow, this is great.
This is, like I said, I really do enjoy it. The first episode was awesome. I just got to find some more time to sit. And like you said, it's we've said this previous episodes, but it's it's a lot of the product out now. There's a lot
so much
intake, and it's just some days, man, I just don't want to watch any wrestling. Some days
I understand.
I just don't want to.
Well, for me, it's easy because I got nothing else going on before this, so I can watch it right away before we do this show. But having said that, it's only an hour. That's why I like it, because I don't have to devote more than an hour. I was trying to figure out, how am I going to watch this War Games business? I'm like, first of all, couldn't find it, because on my Roku, the network, I can't even search by company for pay-per-views.
Really?
Mm-mm. I can, but I got to type everything in by hand.
That's really weird.
So it says pay-per-view. It says WWE pay-per-views. So if I go to that, all it is a WWE ones. They used to have on the old setup, they used to have where I could look by company,
Yeah, they have it still, but it isn't where it used to be, and it's hard to find. I noticed, at least I have an Apple TV, and that's what I use it on. And like when you go to the main screen of all that stuff, you got to go like all the way to the left, and it brings a side menu up. And then like on there, you just go to the in-ring, and then get all the other promotions. That's where I found it.
Well, I went to in-ring, but all the other promotions are not there. They're there by individual show. For example, WCW Saturday Night is there, but the pay-per-views are not.
Weird.
Yeah, it's a mess. But anyway, I found it, so we'll talk about that.
Have you tried logging on your computer on the network to see if it's any different? To see if it's like,
I haven't, but I mean, I probably could.
Yeah, I was just curious. That fascinates me because I'm just like, I wonder if that's like your Roku messed up or what.
Well, so I'll tell you this. Initially, when the network came out, I've got a Chromebook that I use a lot, particularly when I'm out on the road. The network would not work with the Chromebook. It just wouldn't. I mean, I could watch it on the Roku. I could watch it on my desktop computer. But if I was out at a hotel, didn't work. And it took them like 8 months to get it to where people that had a Chromebook could even watch it.
Yeah, that initial rollout was pretty slow.
Oh, it was rough. It was rough. But anyway, all right. We'll talk about the Fall Brawl War Games, which I'll just say was exceptionally enjoyable to me to watch for many reasons. But we'll talk about that about halfway through the show or so. And you've got some other things that you're interested in bringing up tonight. But what should we start with? AEW from last week?
Yeah, that's fine.
AEW last week really was kind of a quick show. There were, 8, 9 matches, something like that, 8 matches, I believe. The first one, 45 seconds. Moxley pins Nakamura after making, the whole does this count business. I like that. Nakazawa.
I like that he pulls the baby boil out to make it look like, and then throws it away to show that he's serious.
Yeah,
serious Nakazawa, no baby oil. It was hilarious.
But I thought, I mean, Moxley, in my mind, Moxley's still killing it. He's as they say, he's not the hero we want, but he's the hero we need. And to be honest, they've got some really good, strong characters after only 7 weeks.
They do. They really do. Yeah, they do.
And it's not overlap either, to be honest. The next match was Dark Order, who I still don't get.
It's still not really. I'm still not really sure what's going on with them.
I don't know if they're ever. I mean,
I think the thing is they're starting to get more heat because I think people are just like, I don't know. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you want. You want to get that heat anyways.
Yeah.
So I mean, if that keeps building, it's going to just be, I don't know, because it worked. But if this doesn't work, I think they are a good heel, though. I think there's a way to make this work. They just got to, figure it out. But
and I'll also say that the match ended with Dark Order winning, and then we're going to make Marco Stunt put on the mask, and then out comes the return of Luchasaurus, which
felt like an early return.
Well, yeah, from what everybody said, but good for him. I mean, I was happy to see him. I thought that was good. In fact, that's one of my on my list of pops and drops for this week.
Okay.
Because I thought it was pretty cool, and I love the way that he just was blasting those creepers. Of course, I hate Dark Order, but I know what their minions are called.
Right.
So, yeah, that's how it works, right? You hate it. And we moved to Darby Allin in a 3-way with Shawn Spears and Peter Avalon.
Poor Avalon, just
you know
what? I like the librarian gimmick, and I'd like to see a little bit more of the two. I like the little weird romance they were teasing for a while between the two that they kind of have seemed to stopped already, which is really, like, you guys gave it like 3 weeks, kind of made it a little interesting, and now we're just no.
I'll say this: Leva Bates does in my mind does a much better job with the whole thing than Avalon does.
She definitely does, but I like I said, I think part of the reason I like it is I like their little interactions together.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Leva Bates is I'll tell you what, that's such, and it's funny because it's still a gimmicky gimmick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a cartoony gimmick.
Yeah.
Like Blue Pants was, you know.
Blue Pants, yeah.
But she's making this work a little bit better.
Yeah.
And she's just a good wrestler. She's really into her showmanship and stuff. So you kind of got to respect that. She's a cool lady. I like Leva.
All right. And afterwards, Darby Allin answers Jon Moxley's request for who's got the balls to step up to me. So that will be a match that takes place tomorrow night on Dynamite, and I think that's
you knew likely to do that, right? Like as soon as I saw him ask for the mic, I was like,
"Oh yeah, absolutely."
Challenge Moxley, like that's where
yeah. Going. But I think it'll be another good match.
Oh yeah,
because Moxley's going to be able to throw him around the ring like a puppet, and the good news is he can take it.
Yeah.
So then we move to Nyla Rose defeating somebody, jobber. Do they have jobbers in AEW?
Sure. I think so. I've seen a couple that I'm like, I don't know who they are, and I've never seen them again.
Yep. So anyway, she made a quick pin of somebody. And then we have go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, which is also odd enough because we haven't seen anything from her.
Yeah.
She lost to Riho. And honestly, I think this is where AEW's could really pick up the ball here. And when we get to the end of Dynamite, I'll explain more. But yeah, that really weird that she was such a high profile coming in and then just nothing once she lost to Riho.
Yep. All right. And then after that, we've got a really good what they determined or what they called the rubber match between Pac and Paige. Again, a tremendous match. Pac wins by submission. But even though they say that's the rubber match, I got to think that's not the last match.
Yeah, I don't know. And they were teasing online because of Hangman tweeted something about going on his own, leaving the Elite or whatever. So I don't know what this long term. This is going to lead up to him and Kenny, right?
I would think so at some point.
Right?
Yeah,
they've really been teasing that on the YouTube show, maybe even once or twice on Dynamite. They kind of teased it. That's where this is all headed, right?
Right.
Let's see the Elite come together, and we're going to see those two end up butting heads. It's interesting, too, because, the rumor is right now 2 more weeks and Marty's contract's up. So that'll be an interesting thing to see what happens there, too.
All right. And then the last match on Dynamite is the improbable tag championship match, which in my mind was only done to boosts Sammy up, because in what world where records matter would you take 2 guys that have never been in a tag team match and put them in for the championship? I don't understand that. It may make sense to some people, but it doesn't to me. I know why they did it. It still doesn't make sense. And it was glaring to me.
Yeah. And that's the loss of the storytelling in it.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, we had how many matches on Dynamite? 8 matches. Awesome. Really is. But you're starting to see now that
I'm sorry, 6.
6?
I had to go back and count them.
But in a 2-hour show.
That's a lot.
Bet. So you're starting to see now the holes in some of the things they're doing because of lack of certain things, lack of storytelling of what's happening. It made sense going in to everything beforehand, but now that we've seen a full run of TV into a pay-per-view and now a show after, you're starting to see these holes, because before it's they don't have the main proper way to tell these stories going in these, so that's why we're doing it the way we're doing it. Now you have that.
Yeah.
Still not kind of using it up to your potential, because there's a lot of promos that should be getting cut that aren't getting cut.
Oh, absolutely.
The tag division, we get it. We get it. The Young Bucks wanted to have the greatest tag division. It's time to cut some of that out, though. We don't need 2-3 tag matches every Dynamite. I mean, for a while, it was 3 a night.
Oh, yeah.
We only talked about the one, but there was SCU and whoever they went against, and then, or were they Dark Order?
No. SCU was the champions. So they were against Jericho and Sammy Guevara.
Yeah.
Dark Order was Jurassic Express.
I feel like there was another tag match, though.
I don't think so.
But I mean, it's you're seeing some holes, because we talked about it with Riho and that Emi Sakura or whatever.
Oh yeah.
On how, and there was no explanation on why she got her title shot. There was none. And then the first match that they had, where she gets that pin over Riho, she comes out just looking like a heel, nothing else, just kind of a heel. Maybe confused heel, because she was still kind of trying to do the whole, hey, sing with me. And it was and then like all of a sudden we're getting video packages of, oh, it's the student and the teacher. And it's like, well, why didn't you do that last? So you're seeing some plot holes because of the storyline and not properly telling the story. You got to do it on microphones at some point. You can't just rely on the in-ring action. I get that that's what they want right now, but now that they're starting to get eyes, start developing your product. Because the other thing too is there's a huge hole in that women's division.
Oh gosh, yeah.
They're not using it to its potential. Like, we get one women's match a night, and there's nothing. It's just random matches, and Riho's in everyone, which is whatever.
Yeah,
she's the champ. I get it, but
it goes back to what you were saying about Nyla Rose. I mean, it's been several weeks before she was back on. And, but that's, I think, one of the problems when you have guys that are writing stuff that are also working.
And this is true. Yeah. And this is why there is no writing team. It's, hey, you guys have this, so go do this. But at some point, someone's got to be like, guys, we're hold on.
Yeah.
We do need to have a little bit of a structure when it comes to the storytelling of this aspect. Because I mean, the other, just like none of the women's talents are like Allie was on this last week's episode.
So she could get her hair cut.
Right. And awesome. I love Allie. But the whole thing was, she was out there for that. But the conversation was, she's like 3rd ranked or 4th ranked. And it's like, I have seen her had one match, and it was before TV.
Yeah.
And you were talking about how she's in the top rankings. Like, you guys got to start using some of the talent.
See, I think what's going to start happening, and I only say this because I like the show, I like the product, but I think what's going to happen is people are going to say, well, if record matters, how do you come up with this hokey shit?
Right.
I mean, if record matters, and you're basing rankings on what?
Right. And as something grows and can become big, little things like that are things that take the drop. So will that be around next year? Who knows? But I mean, like, another good example is, what the hell's going on with Kenny Omega? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, he is coming into AEW. The guy was the talk of the indies, one of the best, if not the best wrestler in the world. And now that he's on national TV, he's just some like confused, like, what the hell's going? Like,
it's almost like he's the top enhancement talent. And we talked about this last week. At some point, these guys got to win. They can't maintain their reputation, even though they'd like to put everybody over. They can't do it, because at some point now everybody just sort of rushes to the middle.
It's gonna have to happen. And these are just things that I'm seeing that it's like, I'd like to see these things get better as AEW goes on. It's still a great show. They're doing a great job. I mean, huge boost this last week in ratings, it sounded like, to get way up on NXT. Not gonna lie, I'm interested to see the ratings come up for after next week or this at the end of this week, because if you're gonna do something to really get eyes on NXT on Wednesday night this week, they did the right shot. WWE took the right shot. The whole open door for both of them. So like if they take advantage and do it, and not just send like a guy or two from each one, and actually they all show up.
Yeah. Here's my thought about it. First of all, they've got the takeover to promote, so that means it's going to be a good show.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, the things that they've done to this point with takeovers, the only in terms of promoting Survivor Series, the only thing that's really been worth a damn was the first week when Shayna Baszler came in, and Shayna Baszler's done a good job, and the other part was Adam Cole. That was good, but other than that, everybody else is nameless. They come in, they beat the tar out of people. If you're a fan, you know who they are, but people that are just watching, they don't have any idea who they are.
No, there needs to be a little. But that comes with the, like on Raw, Jerry obviously is not watching NXT. He doesn't know who any of these guys are, which makes that a little bit harder.
Yeah.
So I get that.
And the other part of it is, still, as much as I want to see what happens, I'm going to watch AEW first.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But
if there was something to make anybody possibly change, that was the right call.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I saw before we came on a rumor that they wondered if Triple H might be part of the NXT team when it comes to Survivor Series. It's possible. I don't know if it's the right call or the wrong call. But it's possible.
Yeah. Who knows?
So anyway,
all right. If I knew that was going to happen, I would buy a ticket right now and go down this week.
Really?
Maybe. Just because that would be kind of cool. Just to see him actually wrestle with the brand he's been running since.
I think it would be.
There was always these versions in NXT, FCW before that.
Yeah.
And then, it didn't become a thing, though, until he took over and was right. So it would be kind of cool to see him suit up with his fellow NXTers.
With his boys.
But who knows? I know you said you weren't really enjoying Raw and stuff, but I kind of enjoyed the ending with Triple H on Raw with Kevin Owens.
Well, yeah. Don't get me wrong. There are bright spots in the show.
Right. And what I really like that he's calling them out, like basically like being like, they don't love you here.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like really just like, come back to where you were and stuff.
Where you belong.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah. I don't know. In a 3-hour show, more than 2 hours to me were entertaining. I guess that's good. So I haven't been able to do that in a while. I felt this week I was more interested.
Well, I missed the first half of it because my television would not replay it. So I came in after the Raw run in, which, think about this. So you got the old Lucha House Party who strikes fear in the hearts of many. Hop the rail with their and this is with their Smackdown t-shirts on, because you can't go beat the hell out of somebody unless you got on the colors.
And how gigantic was that Fox logo on the back of those shirts? It was hilarious.
Let's just say from our time in the radio business, somebody is kissing some major ass. But they go in, they have their run in, whatever. But then, they don't leave over the rail. because they came in, they saw they conquered, right? They walk up the ramp. Now, wouldn't anybody else from Raw have come down and kicked their asses? It's just one of those things where it's like, it can't happen this way. It wouldn't happen this way.
Yeah.
And those are the
times where you want it to happen, like when they just Triple H just interrupts, which probably was one of the best matches on a Monday Night Raw.
But you know why he interrupted it where he did. So they wouldn't have to have either of those guys lose.
Oh yeah, I get that, but that's the thing with WWE that I've always kind of been like, you can give it sometimes.
Yeah,
it doesn't always, like, and it's funny because the rumors, and this is what I'm going to use as a comparison, the rumors are right now that people like with Fox were not happy that he debuted Cain Velasquez on the Fox Smackdown premiere to then just give away his first match in Saudi Arabia.
Well, yeah,
some of the Fox execs were not happy with this.
Of course they weren't.
But that's just like a perfect example of where it's like, you do something stupid like that, but you won't let this epic match just actually have a clean finish. I get you don't want to look at anybody looked at, but like sometimes it's okay, and it's sometimes you just got to do that.
Yeah,
it's just a shame. It was a shame that match didn't get an ending, a clean ending. Because someone else, I said that on Twitter last night. I was like, a shame that this match didn't get a clean or a finish. And some Yahoo was like, "Oh, it ended, didn't it? That was the end." And then was like, I don't know why you don't like, just because it didn't end or just because you didn't like it doesn't mean it wasn't the end. I'm just like,
yeah. Find out how old they are.
Like, what
because if they're from 12 to 17, then that's because honestly, that's who I think this is being written for at this point.
Yeah, most definitely. But it was
but because a 12 to 17-year-old is not gonna see these gaping holes.
No, it was just so comical though to be like, I never once said I didn't like it. I just said, it's a shame that it didn't get a good finish.
Yeah.
Still great match, still great segment.
Yeah.
People like it made me laugh because it's like, these are the people who just thrive off of trying to just say stupid shit online.
No, it's troll, baby, troll.
And it's just like,
troll, baby, troll.
It is, because if that was like their real opinion, it's like,
yeah,
you need to like, it's real, right?
After that match, and we skipped a whole bunch of them, but after that match, we had the Natalya Asuka match. You know how much I love Asuka, and I just don't even know why they did it. It's like, if you're in the middle of this takeover business, and so and you never know what's going to happen. So now you got a match between these two, and if nobody cares enough to come in and beat the hell out of those two, then why should I care that it's even being put on?
Right. Yeah, it was just weird. I don't know. I mean, I know you love the Kabuki Warriors, but
no, this is wrong. I don't love the Kabuki Warriors. I like Asuka on her own.
Like the Kabuki Warriors, though, because it's what's giving your girl.
Well, I have to. It's the only way I can see her.
So, and you should also be worried because the big rumor is Kairi-san's gone in a few months.
That's what I hear. Going back to Japan. And to be honest, I think I heard in that same rumor that Io Shirai is going back too.
Yeah, I heard that as well. But no fear. They say that Asuka's very happy here. So,
well, she's making all of her YouTube stuff. I started watching it.
You watch it?
I can't watch it. I can't watch it.
It's hard. It's rough.
It's so difficult.
And we're saying it's rough because of the language barrier, because obviously she doesn't speak very good English yet.
And the problem is that she's trying to caption it, but they don't match.
Yeah. So, but it's interesting. I watched her clean a fish. I was like, why am I watching this?
I know. I watch her. The funniest to me was when she was playing, what is it? The theme, the Mario Brothers theme on her pan flute. or whatever, a recorder.
Amazing.
I just was like, that is just so stupid, and yet thousands of people are watching it.
Yeah,
because it's Asuka.
That's right.
You know, what would happen if I played something on a pan flute? I'd play something on a pan flute and it'd sit there for about 12 years before 2 people looked at it, and then one guy'd give me a down vote and then tell me how much of a fat ass I am. That's what had happened.
I don't know. Maybe you're a really good pan flute player.
No, I suck at the pan flute too. I wonder if I got that thing around.
Wait, you actually have one? That would have been amazing if you pulled one out right now.
Pull one out. I wasn't going to pull that out, but I'll pull this out. Oh, this is a little device that I found, and I'll show it to you because it's the word. What's it look like? Does it look like a little musical note?
Oh yeah, it kind of does.
All right, I don't know. I can't get the whole thing in there. There we go.
Oh, you got it. Yeah, all right.
All right, no. Oh, gotta turn it on.
Oh, what the hell? That's so loud. Stop.
So my thought was, here, wait. I'll put the tone down so it's not as hard on your ears. So my thought was,
stage now.
Pardon me?
Is this how you come out on stage now?
Not yet, because I don't know any songs. But I thought what I might do was I might try to learn how to play some of my favorite wrestlers' themes. You know what that one is, don't you?
No. I'm not good when it's
well, because I'm not hitting the right notes. Is my closest one, the easiest one I can play is the NWO theme.
Really? Oh. It's like a duck doing wrestling theme song.
Anyway, so that I got Asuka should get a stipend or a sponsorship deal with that outfit because it's Japanese. I didn't buy it because she had it. I bought it because I first started looking for a recorder because I thought I might not be a wrestler, but I could play a recorder. And then I thought, that's too hard. And then I thought, well, what could be easier? And then I just typed in Google, easiest instrument to play. And then this thing pops up. And it said, the reviews are like, my 6-year-old learned to play it in 2 days. So it's taken me longer than that. I don't know how to play it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll come up with something. We'll figure something out with that thing. I don't know what it is, but it's like, yeah.
It sounded better than Lana giving another promo though.
Man, they got to get rid of her.
It totally hit me too watching this. It's like I'm amazed because when she was the ravishing Russian,
she was great.
She was killer on the microphone.
Because she wasn't playing herself.
Like, what the shit is going on? Like, the fact that they get, like, when she came out and got on the mic this last week, I was like, they're going to let her do it again? Like, what the hell? Like, why would you do that? Last week's was a fiasco.
Yeah.
And it was just awful. And then on top of that, it was just dumb because it's like, oh, divorce. Oh.
We want Rusev out of our life forever. Is it, what happened to your accent, girl?
And I hate that the accent comes back when she says Rusev.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's going to end soon. And it'll be great for all. And hopefully Rusev gets a great big push.
I hope so too.
Or goes to AEW. One of the two. Who knows?
Well, who knows? I thought he just resigned. Oh no, that was the thing. It was somebody was giving him crap about resigning, and he says, "Who said I resigned?"
Right. Can we also talk about how awesome it was to see the Iconics get on the screen on Monday against Charlotte and Becky?
Let's do it. I love those two.
Hilarious. Like they make me crack up every time they are on my TV. Every time.
Billy is literally Billy is the funniest person on in wrestling today. I really think that. She is just and my God, if they gave her free reign to just be herself, she's just such a nut, and it's hilarious. But yeah,
it was great. Did you catch? And there's like a GIF of it going around when they were in the ring and Samoa Joe's song hit.
No,
and Peyton, right when it does that roar in the beginning of his song,
yeah,
or right, what is it? What does this thing do?
Samoa Joe's.
It makes that like scream in the beginning. You know?
Yeah, I don't remember.
It's into that doon.
Yeah.
Either ways, when it does that, like she was in the ring doing like a dinosaur, like roar.
Oh my God!
And someone put it online. It was just hilarious. Like they're funny. They play that heel part just great.
Yeah,
it's loud. They talk.
Oh yeah.
They get the like piss knocked out of them, and it's just.
And there you go,
dude. They are great. It was so good to see them on TV. I don't know why they don't get used more.
Well,
they didn't have a better run with the title because
they were just. Here's why: because they were just title holders. They were just see. So here's what happened. All right, they had this whole need to do the women's evolution, and they did it, and they came up with the tag belts, and now they got the tag belts. And they don't know what to do with them. They don't really want to do anything with them anyway, because God knows they don't like the men's tag team division. All right.
Right.
So now they got to figure out, well, let's put it on those two. Because to be honest, I don't know if it still works out this way with contracts. And maybe at some point, Wes could shed light on this, or you could. Sometimes in their contract it says I get a championship run of some kind, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, and Brock comes back all the time.
Yeah, and so maybe that was that for them. But then the whole. So now the Kabuki Warriors have the titles for no real reason. Yeah,
and like you said, it's like I feel like they're struggling to keep the women's division going as far as just the women's champions.
Yeah,
like they kind of are ignoring that they have a tag team division for women now. Like they need to start getting some tag teams in there. So who knows? I don't know. It's a waste. Yeah. And then I enjoyed Andrade versus Seth.
Mm-hmm.
But if he does another backstage segment with Charlie Caruso, calls her Chuck again, I mean, I'm not going to do anything.
Here's a problem. The problem is, and it still is, and we talk about it all the time. The problem is Seth Rollins wants to be cool. He's not cool because it's forced. It's not like it's because he didn't think that it would be smart to call her Chuck. I don't think because here's the thing. Either somebody wrote it and told him to do it, which is stupid, or he thought it would be cool to do it, and it's not.
And that's what I think. Because you know what? I think he's more of kind of an ass than he in real life than this cool guy, which is why. Because look at the shit he's doing. Like maybe like 15 years ago, you could like look at some girl who's named Charlie and be like, "What up, Chuck?" And people be like, "Oh, yeah." Where now it's just like, well, no, you can call a girl like that's kind of stupid, man. That's not that funny. And I feel like he's just not that. He doesn't have a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like so he thinks it is funny. Like, oh, I'm cool, man. Watch. Hey, Chuck. That, or he's just doing it so Becky Lynch isn't like, you're flirting with every girl out here. How many other girls have penis pictures from you?
Oh, my God. Yeah. No. All right. So we've Chuck. Hey, Chucky. Hey, Chuck.
What, I mean, that wouldn't be a bad move, man. That's Charlie Caruso.
Well, yeah. I just think all of those announcer girls are just tiny little things.
Oh yeah,
they're like this. I mean, like sometimes you'll see pictures of them, and then the doorknob is at their shoulder, and I'm like, are you legally a full-sized human?
Right. Yeah.
You know, but anyway, we digress. All right.
Like our pops and stuff.
Oh yeah, here we go. And it's time for pops and drops. Go ahead. What's your big couple of pops this week?
All right, let me see here. Trying to think here. Well, my biggest pop was that match, Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre. Again,
Good match.
at the beginning of the show. This is something Kevin Owens, I think, really needed. And he got a really good response. And that's what kind of bothers me more about this, is where it's like, I don't see the disconnect that Vince has sometimes with Kevin Owens. I just don't. Like, the guy is awesome.
And the fans all love him too.
People love him. Even when he's a heel, he's awesome. I mean, look at the stuff he did with him and Jericho was genius.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was just, yeah, I don't know, man. But that was definitely one of my pops. Are we doing all of them?
Well, no, I mean, go ahead. One of my biggest pop was when Luchasaurus came back. To be honest, I mean, I knew he was coming back, but it was nice, and I liked the way they did it. As we mentioned before, just mowing down every one of those creepers, and he really looked invincible, and I thought it was fantastic.
I agree. I'm gonna give you. I gotta look for.
Give me a gold star for that pop of the week.
Do
you have more pops?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well,
I gotta. I know. I'm sorry.
Oh,
because I don't remember it off the top of my head.
So. Well, I'll go ahead and tell you another one, and it just happened tonight, and I know you didn't get to watch the NWA Power show tonight. One of the pops that I had, and it wasn't really like, oh my God, but it was kind of an oh my God, was that Latimer of the, what are they, the Wild Cards, I think, that are the NWA Tag Champions, was asked by the interview guy, what's the deal between you and Camille? Because they're dating in real life. And he says, we're just friends. And I just like, oh, this is perfect, because they're going to bring this into it.
Right.
Which leads to a whole nother
She's
level.
Yet to talk, right?
She's not. So let me tell you this. Billy Corgan was talking about her today on Busted Open, and he said, all right, so here's the deal. Do you think you could not talk for like a year? And I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. So I'm fully expecting her to just be, in essence, a mix between Ronda Rousey and Chyna as Nick Aldis's security blanket until it needs to come out, and then when it comes out, it's gonna be awesome.
Right? Yeah, that'll be a good moment. My other pop. I'm gonna do okay. So it was hilarious. I don't know if anybody else will laugh at this as much as I did, but I popped hard for, and I hashtagged it last night. Hashtag hot Carl mother loving Anderson. Wow, it was amazing when he's just hot Carl mother loving it. Like, what? And then he's just like, yeah, that sounds like a good time. Like, okay. That, and then Becky Lynch popping the Mojo Rawley lookalike in the face.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, when she punched a security guard, but he looked exactly like Mojo Rawley.
Oh, maybe it was because he's got to work. For
a second, I thought it was. I was like, damn, active roster, and they're like, hey, we have a security outfit for you. You know what I mean? Like that.
Well, yeah. When was the last time you saw Eric Young getting hit in the back with a chair? Sorry, buddy. And then, well, you're pretty much done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are my two, and those are a couple. I think 4 good pops.
You have drops though?
Yeah. Well, so like my drop is just this whole scenario. Now it's been 2 weeks worth of these show invasions, and they're, if they did them to the point where they meant anything, I might not feel this way. But it's like, okay, first of all, the first week was great. This last week has just been sort of, I mean, you did it. You already did it. I mean, and I think all of these things, I think, so is this brand just going to say, God darn it, they did that. I hope they don't do it again? Or are they going to come up with security measures to keep them out? No, we're not going to do that. And it's just, there are just so many hokey things with this whole business that I'm just already tired of it.
Right.
I'll watch the pay-per-view on Sunday, but I right now I have zero investment in it. You know,
I think they went too hard too quick. Like when you got to do a lead up to a show like Survivor Series where it's brand versus brand versus brand, sprinkle it in first. So instead of that, I understand why they had to do it on that SmackDown because you had to because of that travel situation. But after that, sprinkle it in. Don't make it as common. Only have like one or two moments in that entire show where that happens. Maybe have a couple more peppered in the next week. Bouncing throughout the shows and then go home. That's when you should have like all full rosters invading.
Yep.
And they just did that right away because they had to with the NXT, and then they just ball was rolling. So yeah, but I'm with you on that one. My drop was and it's gonna sound weird, but the Jericho MJF promo.
Oh yeah.
The promo wasn't the drop. Like it was great, entertaining, awesome. Those two obviously can talk on the mic together very well.
Absolutely.
What I didn't like though is there was no definite answer on is MJF and Wardlow, is it Wardlow in Inner Circle? Are they not? Like that, what the hell happened at the end there?
Yeah. That's one of the things. I think they do that so I mean that's the old school, let's see what happens next.
I get that, but I mean, we talked about this too after that Full Gear. That they went too quick on turning this, MJF thing, turning on Cody happened too quickly, and then on top of that, we talked about, well, like, does this mean he's in the Inner Circle? And it was like no, and then they cut that promo, makes it look like he's going to be in it, and then no real answer, and like here we are. Like
I almost feel like they're a little bit nervous and want to rush to these things because they don't trust that the fans are going to stick with them. But they are. It's clear the fans stick with them on just about everything.
Yeah, they do. And it was really interesting to see last night's Twitter action going on between the fans of these companies. Did you follow any of this? Did you see what was going on?
Oh, yeah. Between with Punk?
Yeah. It all started with Punk's tweet about backstage tonight and no one's safe, and he tagged everybody in WWE and Tony Khan.
Yeah.
Tony Khan then makes the comment about, what did he say? Something about, he made reference to the
airplane in Saudi. Yeah.
Which then at that point, Randy Orton chimes in, which this is during Raw Live, who Randy Orton had a lot of TV time last night.
Yeah.
And still was managing to tweet out like a story, and apparently it's a couple of years old or a year old, about his dad being corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
And so Tony then fires back with Randy Orton being on Twitch and dropping an N-bomb, which that was on there for about half hour before the Twitch video was then everywhere.
Yep.
Of Randy Orton.
Well, you can't bring stuff up and not have proof.
Right. And then what did he say? Randy Orton called him a Jacksonville Dixie today.
Oh yeah, which I honestly thought that was pretty funny.
It was a Jacksonville Dixie, and I don't even know where it's. My computer's going crazy.
Yeah, what was it? What
you? If I wanted to talk business, I call your father.
Yeah. It's amazing that they are in this spot, but there's no war. It's not a war.
No, they're just, and that's what and I think everybody's like, oh my God, but I think they are actually legit. Like, because here's the deal. Like when Hogan said it, when that kind of stuff came out, Don't get me wrong. I am not obviously a colored man, so I will never say that out loud. It's just that's what I was raised on.
Right.
I have friends that are black, and I would never do that to them.
Yeah.
It's just disrespectful to them. But like Hogan said it, and he meant it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he said it and meant it in that racist way. Where Randy Orton says it on Twitch like he's a damn rapper. Like shooting people on this video game, like laughing, like he. It wasn't like he was saying it to down that race. He was saying it like he wanted to be them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I don't know how much. Obviously, not a lot because it came out and no one's freaking out.
Yeah,
hearing anything out of WWE saying that he had to apologize to the locker room. If like people like Booker T heard that video, they'd be like,
yeah,
Andy, you know what I mean? Like, so it's interesting to see these guys just taking shots at each other. Literally, like a week or two after, there was so many rumors that Orton was jumping ship.
Yeah,
which makes it even better for if they ever do work together down the road.
Oh my God,
so
unbelievable.
Yeah, man.
Now everything changes. Oh, now before we get into our War Games review, talk real quick about the information you have about the Jericho cruise.
Yeah, I'd love to if my computer wasn't.
Well, you can make it up.
Yeah, no, it's you've seen that I think we talked about it last week, right? That they announced Miami the Wednesday before the cruise leaves. On that Monday, they'll be in Miami doing the show. I think at the University of Miami. Excuse me. And now they announced today that it's going to be Bash at the Beach.
Yeah, which is cool.
I'm interested to see how they got that name because I thought WWE owned all WCW trademark.
Maybe they spell it Beaoch. Biatch. Bash the Biatch.
No, I don't. That would be weird. That would be a weird sign and set. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well.
Anyways, they announced. Yeah, it's good. Now here's where I'm thrown off though. An unprecedented 9-day experience for super fans that featured 2 Dynamite shows, a cruise on board Chris Jericho's tricked out party ship, and nonstop entertainment in between. Says the adventure begins on the 15th of January, which is Wednesday Dynamite at the University of Miami for Bash at the Beach theme episode. And then it continues with Chris Jericho's Rock and Roll Rager going to the Bahamas on the 20th through the 24th. It doesn't say though, like I'm not understanding. Are they selling like a few tickets that are going to be you get to the show, you get to the boat, you get like is that what
it might be?
Because it's not like I haven't seen it. Maybe I'm missing it. I'll just keep reading this. Anyways, high octane bouts with the biggest names from AEW will be filmed from Jericho's sold out Norwegian Pearl ship, including the January 22nd episode of Dynamite on TV. The history making event will be bubbling with the exclusive opportunities to meet AEW stars, studded roster, as well as nonstop wrestling, rock and roll, live podcasts, paranormal explorations, talent hosted activities, and autograph sessions, parties, blah, blah, blah. Again, I'm trying to see. So tickets for the January 15th show go on sale Friday, November 22nd. Tickets for the show will be available for purchase. Yep. For your chance to join the party. Okay, so when you hear this and read this and they advertise it 9 days, they make it really sound like there's a ticket you can buy that includes all of that.
But there isn't.
There is not. Because the link they give you for the cruise is the Just Chris Jericho cruise link.
And it's sold out. Right?
It's sold out. All you can do is pay to be on the waiting list right now for like a last minute cancellation. Yeah, they charge you. It's crazy. Yeah, anyways. Yeah, so we both were right. You will see AEW Dynamite on Wednesday night TNT from a boat. But I want to say I think I won the bet because they're not doing it live.
Well, let's just wait and see.
Wait and see. Yeah, we're not making any.
We might both be right.
We might. Yeah.
They might have. It's entirely possible that they have some of it taped, and so because to be honest, it's not that difficult to satellite from anywhere in this day and age. You don't need a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But you got to look at, though, the ships aren't built for that because they were built like 15 years ago. You know what I mean?
No, I understand that. But what I'm telling you is that you don't need to have one of those great big huge honking dishes to do a satellite feed anymore.
Oh, no, you don't. But it's because they already have a shitload of satellites, antennas, and shit on these boats for the GPS alone.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that's kind of why they don't do it. They don't risk interference of all that.
Maybe.
Doing streaming. Anyways, again, it would be, if they do it, it'd be interesting. But if they do it, we literally will be in the middle of the ocean. We won't be near land at all because it's sea day.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, this is what I thought they were going to do is when it said filmed. I was like, yeah, I kind of figure that's as far as these matches and stuff. And I'm interested to see if they're going to do any editing on them. Because like I said, anything can happen. Literally a bird and again, we were in the middle of the ocean. We weren't even near a port. And a freaking bird like dove at a lady front row during one of the shows last year on the cruise. And if you watch back, I think it's on Fight TV app, the FITE. I think you can order it on there. If you watch it back, because you can actually watch the matches from the ship last year. Like when that moment happens, you don't see it, but you hear, because Colt Cabana and Jay Lethal were doing the commentary, and you hear them lose their minds over this. Literally, they're calling a match, and Colt Cabana just all of a sudden's like, "Oh my god, that bird just tried to take the lady out!" And like they're just and literally, we were standing there, and this bird, like I saw it, and I was like, "That." We're not even near land. How did he get out here?
What kind of bird was it? Was it a seagull?
I mean, it was like around that size, maybe a little bigger, actually. Like,
maybe like a some kind. Oh my!
Yeah, but he was just like flying around and around. I even told my nephew, I'm like, dude, that bird's getting real close. Like he might land down here, and all of a sudden just and like literally they had to catch it and like release it off the boat.
Oh my god,
it was hilarious. Anyways, so yeah, it's gonna be cool, man. It'll be cool to see, because that's the other thing too. On the boat, production value ain't happening. They have a hard enough time getting the ring on the boat.
Oh yeah,
and with the staging, the pools, how much space you have, there will not be a lot of production on this boat.
Right.
Staging, stuff like that. There just isn't, unless the only thing I can think that they could do is
all steady cams.
Well, build a ramp off the main stage to the ring.
Yeah.
But that's a long...
They ain't going to do that.
And yeah, you wouldn't probably want to do that. So I don't know. It'll be cool. I'm excited.
Me too. All right. And now comes the time where I promised I was going to have a new opening for our old school review. And due to the fact that I wasn't able to do it, we do not have a new opening.
Dude, play a song with your thing.
Pardon me?
Play a song with your thingy.
Oh, wait. Bash at the Beach theme. There we go.
Yay, old school review.
I'll have to record that.
Yeah, or not, you know.
Play it by ear.
Yeah, we did the 1994 Fall Brawl, WCW Fall Brawl. So how did you find it?
Eventually, I typed in well, first of all, I was just looking up war games. So that made it more difficult. But then when you told me it was under Fall Brawl, I was able to type it in to the search and then find it. But literally it took me 2 days. I mean, not once you did, but I was looking for 2 days and I couldn't find it. I mean, I could see, and so here's the thing. When I typed in war games, I saw different ones that had the logo that said war games, and it had literally every year popped up in the search except 94. So That made it very, very difficult. But having said that, once I found it, I was absolutely shocked and surprised at the people who were involved in this, because I certainly was not watching WCW at this point in 1994, and to be honest, my sons were 5 and 6, so I wasn't really watching wrestling at all during this time because I had other things to do. Having said that, the first match, Johnny B. Bad, who I remembered, but who then became Mark Marrow, wrestled Lord Steven Regal for the television championship. And by the way,
yeah, I'll go for it.
The television championship belt from WCW at that time is probably one of the coolest wrestling belts you'll ever see, because they've got, I don't even know how to describe it. I should have got a picture to pop it up, but there's some color to it, and it's got the logos of TBS on the side of it. And in olden days, they had NBC, CBS, and ABC on there as well. But anyway, I thought it was a really good match. I love Steven Regal, or whatever you want to call him. But Steven or William, whichever one, doesn't make any difference, right? Because it's all the same guy.
He's a man.
But that was a good match. I enjoyed that a lot. The next match that came up was Kevin Sullivan with his brother, who I didn't even know there was a brother, in a loser leaves the WCW match with Cactus Jack. Now, I know Cactus Jack was there. I didn't realize that this was his final match in WCW. He loses.
Oh, yeah, he loses.
And then goes to WWF.
Where him winning a title was preposterous or whatever.
Yeah, that'll put butts in seats.
Hey, let's give out the results.
That's a whole nother story.
But
I thought, go ahead.
First of all, I just wanted to say Regal coming out with the wig on and everything.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Mark Marrow, Johnny B. Bad. That gimmick was bad.
Yeah.
And he was just like a ripoff of Prince, or what's his name? Little John? Or Little Richard?
Oh, yeah.
Little Richard. And it was just, I was never a Mark Marrow guy. Like, I just didn't like him.
When he came out, I recalled that he had so much tan on him that you really couldn't tell what race he was.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, holy cow. But it was good. I mean, the gimmicks aside, it was a good match, I felt like.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, yeah, it was good. I mean, but that's a thing with Regal, though. He's good with anybody.
But anyway,
you're missing out too, though, that before the Cactus Jack and Kevin Sullivan match, we saw Hulk Hogan get totally Tanya Hardin by a masked man.
Oh, that's right.
Which then had to forfeit the title to Ric Flair, who then conveniently retires as champion.
Yes.
And then the whole thing is later we're going to hear from Hogan because he's got a big surprise for Flair, and he's going to, and he's the real champ. And
yeah. I forgot about that. But that was from either, was that from the previous pay-per-view? Or was that from a previous
pay-per-view? I think it was Clash of Champions.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, man. Then
we'll get to it. We'll get to that. Anyway, Kevin Sullivan defeats Cactus Jack, and my God, Cactus Jack is getting thrown all over the place. That I just loved the whole match. I loved the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. It was good.
And I also loved the fact that Kevin Sullivan's brother was trying to stop both of them from using the chair. I found that very interesting. Very interesting. Next, we have Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, who similarly to Hulk Hogan, has an injury that prevents him from wrestling with the United States Championship. And he has to hand it over to none other than stunning Steve Austin.
Stunning
Steve Austin, which again.
And I love that if you listen to him cut his little promo, he even does the whole, and that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
Steve, man, you just knew. I mean, that was just.
But at the time, oh gosh. And so anyway, Nick Bockwinkel, who I didn't realize was the commissioner, then makes the announcement that you're not just getting the title, you got to fight somebody for it. And it's good old Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who in and of himself is kind of a cartoon. But Duggan wins. And that was amazing to me. But I just love the fact that here's Steve Austin before he's Steve Austin, in essence. The next match that comes up, Paul Orndorff.
Oh, by the way, and that was, didn't they say that was the shortest loss in WCW or something like that?
Shortest United States title reign. Yes. Because they said Austin was the championship, held it for all of a minute and a half, I guess. The next is a World Tag Team Championship against with Paul Orndorff and Paul Roma, who are called Pretty Wonderful, against Stars and Stripes, which is the Patriot, and Marcus Alexander Bagwell, later to become known as Buff Bagwell.
Very young Buff the Stuff.
Oh my God, was he young? That was a pretty good match. Again, it's old school. It's 1994. I enjoyed that. The next, and I can't remember if the Hogan Flair debacle happened between this next match or before the championship, before the main event.
I feel like it was before
the main event.
I feel like,
or before this one. This three-way kind of fiasco.
Maybe it was before this, because this three-way was pretty.
It was to me. It was the weakest thing in the thing, other than this. So we cut to Hulk Hogan, who is in the gym working out, brother. And
which really weird that Jimmy Hart's just always with him.
Oh yeah, somebody's got to wipe his. Anyway, so he says, "Give me that phone," and he calls Ric Flair.
Just randomly dials up a number in Vegas.
Hey, I happen to know where Ric Flair is, and the girl, one of the girls picks it up and says he's busy. He doesn't want to talk to you.
Yeah, that was so awful. What, you trading him in aerobics?
Now, clearly, this was about, dude, it seemed to me like it was a half hour. I know it wasn't, but it was the most painful thing to sit through.
The worst is it got worse when they actually finally started talking to each other.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, instantly I was like, oh my God, this is exactly like the first time they were in the ring before the Saudi Arabia show.
And it is exactly the same.
Then I thought about it and I'm like, it makes sense. That was the match that never happened when it should have happened in WWE.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't as big of a deal when it happened in WCW. Those were two such polarizing figures in the wrestling world that they have never crossed paths, and that they never had someone around them that it's like, wait a minute, like this guy, I'm not maybe the top right now.
Right.
He's here. You know what I mean? So like, and I'm talking backstage doing promo stuff, not even in the ring, because they weren't good together in the ring either. But it's, you can just see them walk all over each other because they're both just trying to be the top guy. And
Yeah.
they're so used to being the top guy that they were not. That thing was a wreck.
What I saw when I watched it was you had two guys that wanted to cut a promo on each other, but they were on a phone. And the fact of the matter was that when the other guy was talking, they weren't listening.
Right.
And that made it just a gigantic train wreck.
Which was exactly like their first promo for Saudi Arabia.
Absolutely. And it oh my God, did it go on forever?
Yeah.
Literally, I mean, it seemed like they were talking to each other for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty awful. But again, you know, Hogan was on that decline. Yeah, he was still big, but I mean, he wasn't WWF Hulkamania big.
No, certainly not. Certainly not.
It was king shit over in WCW. That region, he was really big in those days. So it's like, I mean, he was way more over than Hogan.
Oh God, yes.
But I mean, it's just it was
the worst.
Egos,
and it was
ain't working.
And it was the low light of this show. Followed very closely by the next match, which was a triangle elimination match between Vader, Sting, and the newly gimmicked Guardian Angel, who was so clearly gimmicked that the announcers kept calling him Boss Man anyway. The first match between Boss Man
and Vader.
Yeah. And you know, whatever. I just didn't like much of it.
No, I wasn't. You know what I did? The whole thing is this did show how good Vader was.
Oh God, yes.
And how much WWF at that time when they had him really missed the boat with him and could have made him bigger. But yeah, other than that, it was just kind of a train wreck. Who was his manager that was with? Oh, Harley Race.
Harley Race. Yeah.
Which was involved, all that. Yeah,
I was excited to see Harley Race, but the whole thing was just a gigantic cluster.
Yeah, it really was.
And then ends up with Sting getting clocked in the knee by the same guy that clocked Hogan.
Who didn't even hit him.
Yeah.
You can see that thing never went into the rope. It just hit the rope. And my other question with this show before we get to the main event, though, was who was the random fan in the red shirt that they kept showing first during the first half of the show, and then they show him getting kicked out?
I think he was a random fan that got thrown out.
No,
I don't think that was. I honestly, I don't think
I never give a fan that much TV time. If
back then they would.
No, everything was a work back then.
Well, you can Google it and look it up. Because he
if you guys know, let us know on our social media.
Oh yeah, I'd love to know who the guy that got thrown out of Fall Brawl in 1994 was.
Yeah,
maybe he'll let us know. I'm sure he watches us.
Yeah.
Then we go to the main event, which they do a really long. And I've noticed this with some of the things that they did here at WCW at this point. Really long intros, videos to these matches, like excessive.
Yeah, and the whole when they showed Dusty Rhodes going to recruit the Nasty Boys.
Yeah,
I was just like, really?
Yeah,
this is pretty hardcore for. Like they were really trying to like make it like some TV movie cinematic shit, but it was just they were really long video packages to lead into these matches. Because you don't want to do a lot of editing back then, wasn't it?
So let's see here, 20. So there's 50, there's 60. I mean, honestly, about an hour and 15 minutes worth of wrestling in a 2 hour and 35-minute show.
Yeah.
The rest of it's, and that of course includes Hogan and Flair in their deal, but the rest of it was all video packages.
Yeah.
God, just too much. Yeah. And then if you recall, as we get to the end, and I'll just mention this now since it's on my head, they were clearly under time by quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because they were dicking around at the end. Like somebody said, you got to stretch 10 minutes.
Right.
So
anyway. And I enjoy that we have now done 2 of these old school shows or review things that, and 2 in a row have had a crazy Terry Funk.
Yes.
Like the dude like tripped and hung himself on the rope, fell in between the rings.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That was crazy.
Took his boot off and was clocking guys with it.
And I thought that, what was it? Colonel, what's his name? Colonel Parker, Robert Parker.
Yeah.
Thought he was literally going to die in the ring.
Yeah.
Like when they started bringing up his health, I was like, oh no, he's sick. For real. He doesn't look healthy.
Oh my God. So we go through the whole schmear and it was the same type of build as you would expect. You start with 2, you flip a coin, then one team, then one team, then one team. And it was properly built as far as I was concerned. There were great spots with everybody that was in there. I felt like Arn Anderson getting
head
kind of a semi pile driver between those 2 rings by Dustin Rhodes was awesome. But all of the stuff that was going on between the rings, and I mean, he also made a leap across both of the ring ropes to do a dive on. There was a lot of good stuff in this. I was surprised, given the fact that it was 2 caged rings, that there wasn't any blood, to be honest.
Yeah, especially Rhodes.
Yep, the Rhodes, WCW, blood was not something that they held back on in those days.
Yeah.
And so I was really surprised that there wasn't any. But I will say that they saved Dusty to come in at the did Dusty come in at the end? Dusty was the last guy in the ring. And then he put Colonel Parker in a figure 4, and the Nasty Boys both just dropped elbows on him like crazy. And then he's, of course, the one that quit. And then that was the match. It was very enjoyable to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good pay-per-view. I enjoyed it. It was nice to see some of those old names.
And I love the fact that we got to see them before their gimmicks were, really mature. Cactus Jack, of course, before, in hindsight, when you know that this is his last match in WCW, it's like, holy cow. They don't make a big deal out of it on the show because why would they?
Right. Same thing with Dustin Reynolds on that show too, because it wasn't long after this where he eventually leaves to become Goldust. So it was pretty interesting to see that.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I really did. It was I was a WWF kid back then.
Mm-hmm.
Early 90s. Like that was were the pay-per-views I was watching. I didn't really pay too much attention to these. I knew, but I didn't. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was, to get to see it again that year though, because I was 94. So just in comparison, I'm looking at 94 Survivor Series and what the main event was. And that was Undertaker, Yokozuna in a casket match with Chuck Norris as the referee.
Oh my goodness.
So a little bit more flair for the younger eyes then, as far as getting my mind going and getting me excited about it. So I remember watching that match and everybody rolling him back. Cause I think that was the match where, Taker ends up coming out of the casket onto the screen and floats to the sky and Yokozuna's freaking out
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but that's the stuff I remember because it was a lot of smoke and mirrors back then too, where back then in 94 WCW was still pretty just wrestling.
Right.
Very, to what it was, before it became
different products. Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, it was really cool to watch it. I really enjoy it now, having that respect for the actual, sport, culture, business, whatever you want to call it. So
Well, I certainly give that one 4 out of 5 stars, I would say, as opposed to if we go back and rate the November to Remember from last week, which I would probably give 2 stars.
Yeah, I'll give it like 3. Yeah.
Well, and the reason that I probably give it higher than you is because some of those older names, just to me, it's a kick to see them in that scenario as a less than matured character. So
I get you.
All right. Well, what should we do next week?
Next week is Thanksgiving week.
Oh my gosh.
Week.
And wait a minute. Which is the one with the gobbledygooker?
I know that I was kind of thinking that one, but I don't remember the exact year. I want to say it was.
Isn't that a Royal Rumble?
I want to say it was 90. No, it was a Survivor Series at the.
Was it?
Yeah, I want to say it was 90, but I don't really remember. So, but Survivor Series obviously is this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's also, Thanksgiving week. So,
we should find the one with the gobbledygooker and then just do it.
I believe it is this 1990. Let me see.
All right.
Click on it. I'm going to click on it real quick just so we know. But yeah, we watch the Survivor Series with the gobbledygooker. Oh, it's so bad. Yep, there it is. In the appearance of the gobbledygooker.
Yeah, baby.
So that would be 1990. The 1990 Survivor Series.
All right. That will be our old school review next week. And if you would like to watch that and make some comments along with us when we review that, that'd be a lot of fun. And as usual, we will pop up virtually all of your comments over the course of the show. Well, having said that, old buddy, it's been a nice time, a fair day. Talked about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited to do this next week and talk about Survivor Series.
I think it's going to be exciting. Although I'm not excited right now, I will be excited to talk with you about it.
Ronda Rousey comes back.
This week?
On Survivor Series.
You're just making shit up?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah, and some other people were talking about it. I'm like, but it makes sense. It makes sense.
It absolutely does.
Her and the other 4 Horsewomen attacked who on Raw?
Well, I know. If that's the case, you'll hear about it here 2 days after the pay-per-view.
The other thing too that kind of makes sense is WWE does like to swerve their fans.
They do.
And really interesting that the episode of WrestleMania for Total Divas is coming out where she says, I think I'm going to take time off or I'm going to leave to go have kids. Which wrestling fans knew this at WrestleMania, but like the world's kind of talking about that right now. Like, oh, and it's like, this is the perfect swerve for her to just show back up, especially since Triple H said, oh, she's coming back sooner than you think.
Mm-hmm.
So
wouldn't it be honestly? See, this is the thing I think about with the open door policy this week at NXT. I don't think, wouldn't it be cool if she came back then? But the fact is, they're not going to. I mean, if they did that without promoting it, they'd be morons.
Oh no, she won't come back on until pay-per-view.
Yeah,
it would be cool if that moment happened, but yeah, no,
it won't. All right, my friend. I will see you and all of our faithful listeners and viewers next week, next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Time. We look forward to seeing you all right here on the Masked Comedian Xcast.